Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Okay, you can see the look on my face right there on how surprised I was when this form worked. Stay tuned to the video and I'll kind of go through the making process and where we're at on it right now. And then we'll kind of come in at the end of it and do kind of like a little bit of a recap. So, all right, this is a piece of walnut about 1 1/8 thick. It does have a nice crotch figure to it right there where the two limbs kind of, form right there, I guess you could say. I don't know what to say, but it's a crotch figure. So it's a nice, you like black pattern in the grain. Right here, I am trimming this up to fit in the box. The dough box is 23.5 by 15 3/4. That crotch figure was a little wonky on this live edge, so I'm just getting it kind of flat, not perfectly flat before I put it in the form. So I did get a little bit of resin that ran under it, but it wasn't a whole ton of resin. So that'll be one of the things we'll come in and talk about at the end. Right here, I'm removing the bark and just kind of scuffing it up a little bit so I get the best adhesion I can to the wood. And like I said, or actually I'm saying this right now, I guess, we are going to do this with countertop epoxy. Now also right here, I do spray it with 2 coats of a mold release spray. The brand that I like is called Man. I will link that in the description of the video. I put 2 coats down and I covered my wood so none of it got on the wood. Right here, I just put the wood in the form, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a colored seal coat with this. And I used an older countertop epoxy. And guys, going into this, I had no idea if this was even going to work. So I used a little bit of an older epoxy, and I wasn't going to go translucent on it. I was going to go dark because I didn't really want it to show yellow. Now, I did get some layer lines, so that's a little bit of a mistake on my half. But, it's like, I didn't even know if it was going to work. So since I didn't know it was going to work, I was like, well, okay. But now that I do, next time around, I'm going to change some things up. But yeah, so if you do these with countertop epoxy, you mix it just like regular epoxy. I actually go a little bit longer. I go about 6 to 7 minutes versus like when I paint, I only go about 5. But when you do these, you can watch the bubbles here in this form, and you'll watch them go all the way over to the side, and then they'll kind of form right there. Towards the live edge of the part. Now, a big important part, if you're an artist like me, you want to kind of understand that you don't want to keep torching this. You just want to let those bubbles get over there, give them about 15 or 20 minutes, and then you can pop them. Now, say if you do like a color coat on the bottom and then you're going to go clear on the top, you have to wait about, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes. And then you can start putting your pattern in there. I've got some other ones I'll throw in here towards the end of the video that I did, a pattern on the bottom, then clear on top. And you'll be able to see that. But there's not really any layer lines on those either. I guess the bottom color layer, but then you'll see the 2 clear layers on the top of that. Okay, so I got the pattern in that one. One thing also, when you put your pattern in, you do not want to put your popsicle stick or your toothpick or whatever you're using to make your pattern. You don't really want to go too deep. You just want to go, just on the surface, just a tiny, tiny bit. And then all you're really doing is just stirring up those micas and making a pattern in that resin. That's all you're doing. You're just kind of lifting them up out and then putting a pattern in. So, okay. Yeah, that's that white opal and chimney sweeper. If you guys want to get these colors, they will be available on my website. And this mixture right here with the white opal, where it kind of gives it that purpley sheen, the white opal and chimney sweepers, it's 2 parts white opal, 1 part chimney sweeper. And you can see that in the video also, like when I throw it in the resin, you see that. I go, you'll see it right here. Put the resin in. And I always mix off camera. I don't make you guys sit through the mixing part of that, the 5 to 6 minutes of mixing. And right there also, you can see how yellow the epoxy was. So just throwing that out there. And like I said, I had no idea if this was going to work before I started on it. So I'm like, let's use some older stuff. Let's not use the new stuff. And as far as like, casting these charcuterie boards with a countertop resin, you can do it and you can do it just fine. You just got to be careful with your, with your bubbles and with your layer lines, stuff like that, depending upon the look you're going for. Okay, what else? I don't know. I don't know what else. Oh, yeah, we'll zoom in here quick. That was me right there. I don't know if you saw that little snippet, but we'll go in there and we'll play with that white opal a little bit in the middle of this, the middle of this layer right here. Okay, and then when we observe the board later on too, epoxy gets a little bit of shrinkage, so you guys will see that. That was pretty level with that live edge. And then when we look at this thing afterwards, you'll see like how it kind of shrank down, below that live edge right there. Okay, and here's just me playing with the epoxy right here. I was like, this color is so cool. And I just kind of went in there in the middle of it and I was like, let's mess with it and get some good video for the old YouTube video. So that's what I did. But yeah, like I said, that white opal and chimney sweeper, those are both up on my website if you guys want to get those. And that white opal also, I'll throw a clip in of another charcuterie board I made a while back. It mixes very, very well with darker colors. So eggplant especially, the one that's in the video later, that one's with eggplant. Okay, moment of truth. Here we go. I popped it like, like a big giant ice cube tray because I'm like, man. And it was making a lot of crack-a-lack-a-lackin' sounds right there. I didn't really get them too much on the, the microphone didn't pick it up too well, so I didn't put it in the video. But it's it worked pretty good. All right, here we go. Here it comes. I flipped it over right like that, and then I just kind of gave her some tap, tap, taps. And I was like, oh, holy cow, that worked. I was pretty happy, and I was like, oh, man, that's freaking cool. I couldn't believe that was going to work. And since I got it to work, now I'm like thinking, okay, now we got to like work the kinks out of this thing, make sure it operates good, everything else like that. But yeah, that was, I was pretty happy right there. But yeah, I'll come in here on this video and we'll kind of talk about it and go over dimensions again and then what my thoughts are. Okay guys, like right there, remember how in the video I was level? We got a little bit of shrinkage. So we'll machine that out and everything. Let me flip it over real quick. Hold on just a second. Okay, and you can kind of see the crack right here in it. And then there's the rest of the bottom. So I don't know, like it's pretty thin right here, so I don't think that's a lot of resin. Right here, I don't know if that was my wood before I put it in or the form. But, it is kind of thicker over here, but then still thinner back up here. And I got some bug holes and stuff like that. It looks like it didn't fill. But I will fix that stuff probably with some, I don't know, that Starbond stuff or whatever. I got some of that. So yeah, so that's what we got. Let me go look at this form and I'll kind of show you on that too. Oh yeah, there's the resin I use. It's yellow. That's Epoxy Top. It's a great resin, worked really good. But like I said, that is some older resin right there. It's like a year and a half old. So, most resin yellows and stuff and perfect, works perfectly fine like when I've used it before. It's just I studied wood and kind of got behind, so the stuff aged and turned a little yellow. Nothing against the resin at all. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here's the dough box, but what I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's not like, there's a couple places in it with like dips and stuff like that. So it's not like completely flat. Yeah, right there, I think you can see it. Yeah, right there, that dip right there. But I think what I'm going to do on future endeavors with this thing is I'm going to cut a piece of melamine in here on it, and then, you know, glue it on with some CA glue and some tape and stuff like that, and just kind of give it a flat base to go off of. So, but yeah, thing worked. The thing worked pretty good. There it is, you know. So I'll link it in the description, like I said. Woo, there you go. It's pretty big. And we'll go over dimensions here in just a second. Okay, so the dimensions that come out of it are 23.5 long by 15 3/4 wide. And it's 3 inches deep too. So, you know, if you poured super deep and you had like a bandsaw and stuff, you know, this is just some things I figure a person could make out of it. You know, a couple 10 by 23 charcuterie board or a 10 by 18. And you could make 4 coasters with that size and 6 coasters with that size. And if you had deep stock, you know, 2-inch plus material probably, you could make 2 of them, and then 2 of them just take your numbers times 2. But okay, that's a little bit of thought process on it too. Okay, you guys, so like this is a no seal kind of like epoxy form, I guess you could call it. It's not really made for that. It's called a dough box. So it's something from the restaurant industry that I'm kind of adapting, you know, to make it work for the resin. There's plenty of other companies out there that probably make a really, really good product. It's just I've never tried it. This thing was only about $30 off of Amazon. I think 30 or 40 bucks off of Amazon. Versus some of the other ones that I've seen that are smaller than this. I think they start anywhere from about $135 to, I think the most expensive one I saw, like a pure silicone one, I think that one was all the way up to about $275 for something like this. So like I said, the measurements on it are 23.5 by 15 3/4 by 3 inches deep. So, you know, if you guys want to help me out on this and help me work through the kinks too, if anybody else is doing that, let me know. Leave some comments. I think the next one that I'm going to do is this one back here that I've fracked it, and I don't know if I'm gonna frack it a little bit more, put more patterns in it, or if I'm gonna burn the live edge on it with a torch. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm probably gonna cut that, river it, put it in here. I kind of want some of that black on the edge, you know, like on the outside edge. So if I cut it in half, it'll put a little bit of it here on the outside edge of the board, and just kind of go from there and play with it. But let me know too. Let me know what colors you guys like. I've got, you know, some of these other colors like this. This was a mixture of a whole bunch of blues. I think it'll look pretty good with that blue in there, but I don't know. I might go like white opal again too. I don't know. That white opal is a hell of a color. So, okay. Well, there's going to be some in footage after this. I'll show you some other charcuterie boards that I've done where you can see it without the layer lines, like clear, and then it goes all the way down to the color. You'll see those. And then I'm also going to be putting a little clip of the router sled in there because we've got to get this thing flat. Some people may have access to a drum sander. Some people may not. So I figured, why not show them a router sled? My router sled's pretty cool too, so it's cool. But yeah. Oh, another thing. If you guys are doing these charcuterie boards and stuff like that, it's a good thing to get like an infrared temperature gun. Let me go grab mine. Hold on just a second. Like this, you know, you can point it down there at it. It'll tell you the temperature and stuff like that. If you want to do them all in, like, you know, all the layers in one day, what I've done in the past is I've, you know, casted them or whatever, like about, you know, noon or lunchtime, and then you can wait about 2 hours, maybe 2.5, and just watch your temperature on it. If you're doing your layers right, it should come up to about 130, 135, and then go back down to about 80. Now, once it gets back down to 80, you can do another layer after that, and then just watch it again come up, and then watch it again go down. Now, with countertop on top of that also, make sure you only ever cast in 1/4-inch layers, unless you've played with the resin. Like I know Pro Marine, I can do 3/8. Some of the other brands of countertop that I haven't tried, I'm just gonna go like 1/4-inch on it until I get more comfortable with it. Okay, I I don't know what else to tell you guys on it. Oh, make sure you get the polypropylene one. Polypropylene has a higher heat rating than polyethylene, so if it does go exothermal, it won't like melt down on you or anything like that. Hopefully not. What else? Okay, all right. Make sure you always tell your loved ones you love them and give them a big old hug. You never know. You never know if you will get that chance again. All right. I love you guys. See you all in the next video. We'll be leveling this thing out. We'll sand it. We'll make it all pretty. We'll get going. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. I got plenty of deep pour in stock. I just decided to kill off that countertop. So you could probably do this with deep pour, too. Just wanted to say that. Okay. Here's some of the other charcuterie boards I've made. This was still with the resin on it, but just want to show you how clear it was because I sand them down. I like a matte finish. But, yeah, you can see right there, you know. You can see bubbles, but not really a layer line, especially like right there. You know, you don't really see it, but, you know, crystal clear, no layer lines. So just want to say that. Okay, yeah, and then here's that other one that I fracked. Thinking about cutting this one in half and rivering it and maybe fracking it a little bit more. I don't know yet. That's what you guys got to leave some messages about, stuff like that. So okay, and then here's a little snippet of my router sled back in the summertime when I was using it. So thing's pretty good. It's like one of those CNC rail type ones. So works really good. And there is a white opal and eggplant mix charcuterie board right there. So that's just more that white opal color for you guys. That's out in the sunlight. Okay. Okay, everyone, thank you for tuning in to a video. I know the countertop layers aren't as fun to watch, but I will throw some guys up here that are excellent resin and woodworkers. Hugh and All over in England, and also Manor Woodworking. Those guys are a couple of my favorites. So check those videos out. All right, bye-bye.